everybody. We're so excited to be here this morning with Amber Huskey from the Link. Now, help me on the name. I keep wanting to call your own name, Amber. Tell me the official name of the company.
So our official name is the Link Development STL. We used to be called the Literacy Link. And so for many, many years, my partner, Jessica, she started the Literacy Link, and I think it's been like 14 years ago. So a lot of the districts know us as the Literacy Link as well. But because we do other services other than literacy, we can do math, we can do science, we do leadership development, we decided to change it because the Literacy Link didn't represent all of the things that we could service in districts.
Perfect. Well, thank you. So Jessica, you graciously put the name, but I didn't want to read it. I'm like, it doesn't feel right. I've been calling it the Link STL. So awesome. Well, that's part of the reason that we had you on the call today, and we're so excited because some of our step up clients who watch this might recognize, because Amber also contracts out with us because you guys are just curriculum and instruction experts. And
Yep.
I feel like that's something, of course, that Step Up are really passionate about. You understand our systems, and we just wanted to have you on the call today so clients know if they're needing other instructional support. I think a lot of people just don't know you're out there. So thank you
Yeah,
so much for joining us today. I'll kind of turn it over to you so you could just share us some of the cool work that you offer, and then we can ask you questions about some of your current clients. And
absolutely. So on this first slide, on the next slide, um, I just put a little bit of my background knowledge or background so I was a teacher in Fox and in the Fox School District, if you were in the area, St. Louis area. Taught there for many years. I was an instructional support specialist with literacy and got the opportunity to join the Literacy Link, which is now the Link STL. I put the districts in there, that some of the districts that we've serviced, there was too many to put on a whole page. But we service districts like Ladue, Hazelwood, North Kansas City, with all different things. So our specialty is really professional development and instructional professional development. So in a lot of these districts, what we do is we go in and we are the instructional coaches. So we'll deliver customized PD depending on what the district or what the principals are looking for. And then Jessica and I's big belief is really around frequency. So we want to be in the buildings as much as possible. We know that as teachers, we were both teachers, she was a principal, we would have PDs come in and it would be a one-timer, right? So one time we would never get like a couple things that we can take away. But then we never saw that person again. And so when it comes to instruction and when it comes to coaching, we want to be in buildings as much as possible. That way we can see some of that learning through and some of that development through. So depending on the districts, that's what it could look like, is instructional coaching for your teachers, customized PD for your teachers. We actually just worked in Kansas City all last year, and we got an opportunity to work with their coaches, which was so exciting because many times we're working with teachers and principals, but to be able to give coaches who are very much left out sometimes when it comes to professional development, there's not a lot out there for them. We got to develop them all year and go in and observe them coaching and give them feedback and model things for them. So that was a really fun opportunity that we had last year.
awesome. Well, and I just want to plug one of the things that I love about your company that I wish you could do, or that we could do more. It's just because you hit the nail on the head with the frequency and consistency.
Mm-hmm.
And I think instructional coaches were really big in the past, and now fewer and fewer districts have them. So this idea that you could outsource people to come in and do instructional coaches. And I love the instructional coach approach too, because it's building internal capacity. But I was
Absolutely.
going to say what I love about your approach that I think is even more effective, how you will go in like an instructional coach, actually plan with a teacher, work with a teacher, model lessons, co-teach. Jessica and I have conversations all the time about, oh my gosh, this is exactly what schools need. And
Yeah.
we just don't have the capacity to do it. And that's really
Yep.
a unique service. So that's why I'm so excited to have you here, because I think so many districts could benefit from that.
You know, We work in the Kirkwood School District, and this is I believe it's our 5th year. We were only contracted for 3, and now it's year 5, and we're still there because the teachers and the scores and everything has benefited so much from having that support. However, they're one of the only districts so far that they received a new phonics program our first year, and Jessica and I went in and gave PD, modeled, observed several times throughout the year, and gave feedback for every single teacher in the Kirkwood district on this one program. And I'm still, to this day, we're 5 years in on this program, and it is the most high functioning. Every teacher does it with fidelity. And I think it was because they had that support in the beginning. I bet I modeled 250 phonics lessons that year, but it was so great because teachers don't get that when they get a new resource.
Well, two things. One, we come out of college not knowing.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
so this is the job of practitioners and our clients listening. This is our job because we can't control that piece. We can only control what we're getting. And two, we so often get new resources and things, and we never give training. And one of the most powerful things I have seen for professional development is to model it. We
Yep.
can talk all day till we're blue in the face, but at least that's how it worked for me. I could see 5 minutes of it and I'm like, got it. I can
Yes.
replicate that. And so that's really a model that you bring in, which I think is so powerful. Awesome.
Well, obviously it takes relationship building for these teachers to let us come in, model, that's a big part of it. But for them to we never, we're non-evaluative. So we aren't going to come in and catch you doing something else, or, that's not our job. And so for these teachers to have somebody who can come in and observe their lesson in a new program and just kind of be a thought partner and think through some of these things, it helps them stay on the track of the actual program. So many times I tell teachers that we don't know if a program works if you don't do it the right way for a consistent amount of time, So having this phonics program 5 years in now, and they're all still doing it the same 5 years later because they get that constant feedback of, hey, this is how you could tweak it, but keep it within the fidelity of the actual program.
Because on the converse, what happens is we don't coach, we don't teach fidelity, and then 3 years down the road, we're like, well, this program doesn't work. Let's get a new. And it's like, no, most programs will work if you have the training and the collaboration around them.
Yeah, I didn't put it on here, but one thing that we do in schools as well a lot is, especially right now, schools are trying to get new resources, right? The units of study boom happened and everybody started panicking and mass buying resources. And what we do now is, what we're finding is, a lot of districts went in and spent a lot of money on resources because they felt they had to, because the state was saying that these were the only ones that were approved, and it wasn't right for their district. So we will go in now and either help them write curriculum and help them write their literacy units and their math units, or we will audit, which is what you guys do as well with the standards. We'll audit their curriculum and say, okay, these are the pieces that you guys have that are really good, these resources, these are the parts that we need. So let us help you build that part of the resource.
Love it. Well, I know you have other slides, so I'll let you.
Yeah, Jessica, the next slide was just the story about how we were the literacy link and how we are now the LINKSTL. Many people know us as a literacy link, so I wanted to put that in there. Many people know my partner, Jessica, Dr. Jessica Garrison. So a lot of people, when they hear literacy link and they hear Jessica Garrison, they know that we're in the St. Louis area, we're in Missouri giving professional development. For a long time, we were really the sole St. Louis literacy consultants. And now there's consultants, everywhere, but for a very long time, we were really the only ones who went into schools and did a specialty in literacy. So I put that on there. You can go to the next one. The next one was really just a refresher on how we believe in frequency. So the way that we set up with districts is, we want to be there as much as possible, as much as the district can support us being there. And so when we do contracts with districts, your rate will get better the more days that you add, because for us, it makes more sense to make it more affordable for districts. That way they can get us in as much as possible than have an outrageous daily rate and they can only bring us in once or twice a year. So in our contracts, the more days, we usually give you like a 10-day tier, 20 days, and then more than 20 days throughout the year, and your pricing will go down as the days increase. So we also do things, we're working in the Maplewood Richmond Heights School District, and we do something called a dashboard for all of our districts that we service. We do a dashboard that has all of our resources, anything that we will use when we're working with teachers in small groups or whatever. All of those resources is linked into the dashboard. And we've had some districts reach out and just say, hey, we want you to come in and do development, but we also want to purchase a dashboard. Like, we would love your guys' resources, but we only can afford, 2 or 3 days this year. So we've been creating dashboards for school districts that we've either worked in before or that are interested in working with us in some capacity in the next year or two. So that's just another option. And then one of the last things that I put in here, this is actually so exciting. We have kind of branched out and created an arm. We like to say it's an arm of our company now. So Jessica and I have been doing this a long time. Our consultants have been doing this a long time. We are in classrooms every single day. And what we see, the trends that we see now, and you guys let me know if you agree with this, but we see a lot of electronics during reading time, whether that's Epic, kids getting on kids getting on iPads and reading with Epic. And we see teachers struggling with that independent reading time when they're pulling groups on what the other kids are doing. And so, especially when you get to 3 to 5, because there's a lot of K-2 phonics games and different activities that K-2 can do. But when you get into that 3 to 5, 3rd grade to 5th grade range, there's not much out there. And so it's been a work in progress. We've kind of been creating things and then auditing things, but we have created independent learning boxes. And so how we have been kind of pitching it to teachers is, think of your old book boxes, right, that sit in your classroom. I know when I had a classroom, I had 27 book boxes of the plastic book boxes. They took up my entire shelf, right? They got knocked over all the time in my classroom. There was papers hanging out, books hanging out, all the things. And these are big enough you can fit folders, dry erase boards, binders, whatever you use during your reading time. And they open up and they stack. And this is like your new reading box. And so we have created an inventory of activities that are all science of reading aligned. They are intentional activities. They're not, Jessica and I always say, like, it doesn't have to be cute to work, right? We get saturated with a million teachers pay teachers activities, all the cute fonts, all the cute clip art. But sometimes I'll walk into teachers' rooms that are using those, and it may not even be correct, like what they're teaching kids. The one day I walked into a room and they were doing CVC words, and they had AR patterns in there, AR, OR. And so the kids were really struggling because it wasn't a technical CVC activity. I always say, like, Joe Schmo can post anything, right? And so if it's not research backed, then we don't necessarily know if it's going to work. So we really have been this summer diving into these independent learning boxes, and we want districts to know that if you reach out to us, grade levels, we have customized grade levels, kindergarten through 5th, they can get reading boxes. You will get the inventory of all the activities. And so the box will come with 10 chosen activities that the teacher provides. And then as you want to switch them out, they'll just get into the inventory and they can print the new cards with the new resource that they can use as the kids grow throughout the year. So that's kind of our arm that we've really been working on this summer. We just see such a need for it in buildings, and it doesn't matter, the area of the school, the clientele of the school, everyone is struggling with independent reading time and what to do with those kids. And so we want to get these boxes in there. We want the kids to be doing intentional, authentic, aligned to research activities that the teachers don't even need to create. They're there ready to go. So
That's amazing.
yeah, it's exciting.
Well, that as a former first grade teacher, I would have died to have something like that.
Right. Well, and as a teacher, it's fun. You get to get on the inventory, you get to shop for the 10 things that you want to start with. So the 10 activities that you want to start with. As you introduce those, we know 10 activities during independent reading time, that can take you months to introduce, so you have months and months worth of activities to introduce to those kids. And then when you need more, you can just take one out, set it aside for next year, and go into that inventory and print the instructional card and put that right in there, and you have a new activity for them to do during independent time.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, and so just to reiterate, I know another thing you mentioned on there that again, our company can't really get to is we recently had a client reach out and say, hey, we don't really want to go with a resource, but we're wanting to create our own lessons and do this thing. So that's something your company can help with that we can't necessarily do.
Yeah.
And so, you're just like this full stop shop with instruction. It's not just limited to reading, helping with math, social studies, and science. And for our clients, to me, it's an added bonus because you truly understand and use and have all of our products. So
Yes.
we're really, you're standards based. It can help them go deeper in it. So,
We, I mean, I've told you this 100 times, but we use the MAT tools in our school's coaching every single day. Like my book is falling apart at this point. I use it every single day with schools and with teachers. And the big thing that we've seen in the last couple of years, and I'm sure you guys have too, is PLC's kind of revamping for those schools that pulled away from it a little bit. And my teachers who use the MAT tool in our PLCs, they have the most understanding of their standards. Just the comparison from year to year is unbelievable. Like they know their standards now. They know how to create assessments. They know, oh, that question is probably a 1. We need to bump it up to a level 3. That
right.
language is being used all the time because of that tool. And we use it constantly, every day in a school.
Well, but this is how we came about because I was getting all these orders and I said, how'd you hear about us? They're like, the link said we had to get these books so they
Yeah.
can oh, well, maybe I should meet those. So,
And it's
again,
funny because we were in a school, I don't even remember what school it was, and a teacher had one. And Jessica and I were like, we need that. Give me that. We need to look through this because this is exactly what we need to use with these teachers while we're coaching.
well, that is a great conclusion of why we love you because you get it. But just
Yes.
the idea that there's been a disconnect, so many disconnects. Our company's trying to help. Do you know that you're supposed to be teaching standards? Do you have this organized approach? And then your company filling in the gap of, hey, your people really do need training. They need people walking beside them because you can have all the tools,
Yeah.
but if you don't have all the training and in depth, now bigger places that have instructional coaches that's where we can usually be successful. But so many schools, Missouri is filled with rural schools who need this extra support of we need somebody to walk along beside us to do that. And so we're so happy that we had you on the call today. We just wanted to brag about you and make sure our schools in Missouri knew that you're a person they can reach out to. And so we've got your contact info here. But also for those of you who came to our conference this June, you got rave reviews. They loved seeing your session as well. So we just really appreciate you. You guys are fabulous. And we hope that some schools reach out to you.
Us too. We are here. We are ready to come meet with you and join on your staff and your team. So please reach out. Reach out if you're interested in PD services, if you're interested in our coaching, or if you're interested in the learning boxes. You can contact us at the same spot, and we will get you that information.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being here today, Amber.
Thank you.